I do plan on getting some MS 170s. I'd like to get 2 of them. I'll sell the 180 because they're virtually the same saw anyway. Not much of a difference between the 2 of them. And I do like those little tiny saws for 90% of the work I do. I only need a big saw for whatever. Now, if I don't get Tree Kong, or even if I do get Tree Kong, my next saw that I got to get is, well, I'm not going to tell you what it is because I know the 500i, everybody's, Reg, get the 500i, get the 500i. But the more I look at the 500i, it's kind of the saw that's neither here nor there. It's light for what it is, and it's fast, right? If you're a stovewood guy, get a 500i. There's nothing better, right? There's simply nothing better, right? But if you're a tree falling guy, the 500i is not the best saw because it's fast, but it's kind of flimsy and light for, you know, like the 272 is a legendary saw because that thing, when you plunge it into a tree, it's in there straight. You know, the 500i, you gotta add weight kits or what's called spring kits to it and stuff like that to stiffen it up. And the problem with that, then you got more vibration in the saw, which will wear it out faster, and you've made the saw heavier. So you're almost better off to just buy the heavier saw if you're going to be doing that kind of work. Now, I'm more likely to be doing that than, you know, tons and tons and tons of stovewood. Not that I wouldn't be blocking up in stovewood, stuff like that, but I'm more likely to be falling a tree in a yard somewhere than doing stovewood, right? So the 500i is really not the best saw for me. It really isn't, as much as I want one, because it's so cool. And just to have it as a, you know, from a historical point of view, like, you know, in 20 years, it's like, yeah, this was the first widely commercial fuel injection saw. It would be cool. But I saw a saw that I think is much better suited for me. Now, I love my 260. And the 260 is probably, for most people, is all the saw they'll ever need. You know, oh, I want to make sure it's big enough to... The work I've done with a 260, I mean, it's unbelievable what a 260 is. Yeah, but if you have to work with it all day, it's not going to last. Guys, I had my 260 for 13 years before I had a problem with it. And even at that, it's just more wear and tear of a, you know, like it probably just needs a new carb and whatever. Even if it does need a whole rebuild, like 300 bucks to rebuild it, maybe, tops. For a saw that's 1,200 bucks new. You know what I mean? After 13 years, like, I mean, yeah. If I rebuild that saw, it'll outlast me. I'll be dead before the saw's worn out, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's pretty crazy. But yeah, so I do want another 260 later on, but not right now. What I might do is get my 260 fixed and the 270, maybe flog the 270, you know, make it earn its keep, and then as soon as it pays for itself, then sell it for pretty much what I put into it. I'll make so much money off of that, it'll be I'll be laughing, right? The 260 I've already made, like, you know, 13 years you know, of income out of it, you know, and I only paid 50 bucks for that saw plus 20 bucks for the chain. Or no, I probably got 90 bucks into that saw because I got 2 chains for it, right? So when you start adding things up, it's like, wow, return on investment has been quite the thing, you know what I mean? So I'm not sure exactly how many saws I'm going to need. I do know I need 2 small saws, right? So I'm going to probably buy the 170 first, and I'll keep Mini Beast in the 170. I'm going to flog all the other 3 saws. And then as soon as I clear my credit card a bit, or if I have enough money just sitting there, I'm just going to, so probably around June or so, I'm going to buy my mid saw. Basically, I don't want to tell you anything because I already know what saw it's going to be. It's the saw that, you know, I've already held it in my hand. I've compared it. I mean, the saws that everybody goes for, okay, in the still category is like the 461, the 500i. The 461, a lot of people like it better than the 500i, even though the 500i is slightly faster. But a lot of people say if you're falling, the 461's a stiffer saw, and you know, for roughly around the same weight. And the 461 is definitely a saw and I think it's like $100 left. But there's a saw that I think is even better for me than the 461. Yeah, believe it or not, there's one that's better. And that'll suit me better because I've already held it. I'm like, wow, if I had to work with this all day with that much power around here, like, again, and I know for you guys that are in big tree country, you're going to disagree with me because you know, I'm talking about suiting to my needs. I'm not working in the jack biomes. I'm not going to be buying an 881. There's nothing in my area for probably half the province of Quebec that requires, until you get up into the Boreal Forest, that would require an 881. Nor would I want to work with something that freaking heavy all day. That'd be freaking a nightmare. 30-pound saw, no thank you. But if I was going to buy the 500i, I would go up to the 661 because it's not that because it's a bigger saw. It's just like, if you're going to go big, go big. You know what I mean? There's no point in buying the 500i when you can get the 661 for $100 cheaper, other than you're saving the weight. But that said, the weight you're saving, you can get a saw, another saw that cuts maybe about 3/4 of the speed of the 500i, which is negligible in difference, and is another pound lighter. You know what I mean? And stiffer. So it's a better saw for the money, and it's $200 or $300 cheaper. So I'm like, well, yeah, you know what I mean? So the 500i would be a great secondary big saw. You know what I mean? So when you are doing the stove wood or something like that, fine. For any trees that don't require plunge cuts, fine. Trees that require plunge cuts that are not massive, no problem. But this other saw will do the same job and is lighter. you know what I mean? It's lighter, so it'll do the same job. And in the bush, like, saw speed in the bush really doesn't count for much. You know what I mean? Like, weight does. You know, weight does. Like, if you're only cutting for an hour or two, that's one thing. If you're cutting for 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, I mean, trust me, that weight counts. You know, so if you only use as big as a saw as you need. It's like gears, right? You use the proper gear. So anyway, that's just my take. But I'm gonna get all that stuff ready and going, and I got to get my brush hog ready and going too. Yeah. 12:30, not too bad. This kind of messes up my day a little bit, but oh yeah, I gotta. Where's the CRV? Can I get by? Just don't want to hit that plow. He didn't park in a good spot. I think he parks over here. Sort of. Okay, we'll try this. I don't know who parked there though. Oh, I know who that is. I know who that is. Okay. All right, here we go.